This is Reflection 14, and I'm not 100% if this is the last one, but if so, I'm kind of glad I ended it off with this. So the prompt question was, how do you intend to extend what you've learned in the last 3 months to your future coursework at Augsburg or elsewhere as you prepare to enter the world of professional educators? I can't just give a general overview of all that we've learned because there's a lot of content that we learned about. But maybe I will take one thing that we learned in class and then another thing that I learned through these reflections. So the one thing that I feel like I will keep in mind as I'm, doing coursework, going on for my graduate, maybe PhD, I'm not sure if I'll go that far, but my master's for sure. When I go on to get that, I will keep in mind about that idea of the TPAC and how there's content, technology, and pedagogy, because that is an important triangle, work thing that kind of helps develop who you are as a teacher or an educator, because you need all three of those components, and you can't have one component without the other. And as well as this, you can be really strong in one component, but you have to be just as strong in the other two components. They all work together because they have to all work in the mix. But at the same time, not everyone in our class is like our teachers right now are teaching kids. So we are at a certain point where we're only between maybe pedagogy and content, or between technology and pedagogy, or between technology or pedagogy and content. Who knows? We're all in where we need to go, but we all know that we're aiming toward that one, that one dot in the very center, and be able to mix all three of those together cohesively, and have a good lecture or good curriculum to teach. The other thing that I'm referring back to reflections is when I watched the TED Talk of Sir Ken Robinson, and he talked about how we shouldn't educate or live life on a linear scale, but be organic, and that we can't just say, oh, we're doing this, and then that's our life. We just work until we die. We have to do things that we enjoy throughout our lives, otherwise we won't want to live as well anymore. But that helped understand, that helped bring into my perspective, I think theater in general is in a class where you are just, you have to sit there and just learn stuff. It's impossible for me to teach a theater class and just be like, oh, you cannot, act, you cannot do anything, you cannot be exciting. I'm just gonna give you lecture notes and here you go. I'm not gonna do that. Theater, you just can't do that, You have to keep them active and everything. So as much as I already knew that intentionally, bringing in that idea of linear or organic, I feel like theater is one of those, professions, one of those jobs where if people want to go for it, that's alternate. You don't even need to have a bachelor's or a master's or an associate's or anything to be successful in theater. It's just when you want to do something specific, such as production management or directing or stage managing. All of those you have to go to school for, because you have to know a lot about it. But when it comes to acting, when it comes to just being on the stage, or when it comes to painting the stage, you don't necessarily need any of those tools. That's just stuff you are creative with. In terms of linear and organic, theater is organic. Theater is something that you do as a fun profession. As much as you want, you can be a production manager or director. Even those things, you are in the world of theater and you're enjoying it. So